Bob, how's your email going? Did you find your junk folder?
Oh, no, I haven't been looking for it. I'm sure it must be there somewhere.
Yeah. When I Googled it afterwards, it said that it was where we were looking, but I still didn't see it. So
Yeah, it isn't obvious.
yeah, I'm gonna need to do some more research for you. Because
I looked at it on my dad's PC that I'm playing with right now, and I found it on his. So I'm surprised that it's not
I wonder if it got deleted.
viewable on Bob's.
I don't think they send junk to ministers.
Well, that could very well be.
Seminary then.
That was cute.
What, does God intercept it?
Goes to the devil.
Well, if you want us to look at it again, we can, Bob.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a
Good morning. Morning, Elsa.
great question. I have a Quicken 1000, or should I be updating Quicken, or if it works, it's okay whenever?
My guess is it's a year that you installed it on your computer, like Quicken 2000 or 2010 or whatever it is. And that will work for as long as you have your PC with the operating system. But you get a new computer, it might not be compatible with the new software. So I'd say only update it when you need to.
Otherwise, don't worry.
Yeah, if it works, it works. Then there's no reason to update it. But if you do updates to your computer, it might
thank you,
have issues. So back up your files if Quicken gives you backups, just in case.
Lynn, I have DuckDuckGo, but it's actually, when I put it up, it's actually my home page, because when I click on Chrome, that's what I get. And I can't find how I make it to be the search engine. Does it matter? Or because the difference is that if I want to search something, I have to open a new tab. Is that a problem? Or should I try to find how to make it be a search engine? Or
can you screen share your computer? Because it might already be your search engine and you just don't know it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you switched it from Google to DuckDuckGo?
Yes. Okay, wait a minute here. Why does it say that? Share. Okay.
Cool.
Now, all right, so now if I go, why is that up there? Get rid. There we go. See, if I go like this, there comes DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
And so is there a way to get there without opening a new tab, or don't I even want to bother?
Do you see your cursor up at the top underneath where your 4 unread messages are? Yeah, go below that. Do you
this?
See,
no, this.
Do you see there's a cursor flashing for you to type a question?
Yeah, right. Well, that's the URL, right?
Yeah, the URL, but you can also type questions there.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to go to DuckDuckGo's site, but do you see the little DuckDuckGo icon is right to the left?
Right. Does that mean it's
that means that it's your search engine is DuckDuckGo.
Oh, all right.
If Chrome or if Google is your search engine, you'll see a little G there.
Okay, good.
And you can see the logo, is there, so.
Okay, now is there a way then I could make something else my homepage if I wanted to, right? Okay, I don't.
You want us to show you how?
That would be under display, right?
Under the settings?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, now I don't have to do that now, but all right, that's cool.
Yes.
So, but if I had a different homepage, I would still have the duck in the URL. Fine. Okay, great, thank you.
Yeah, and it's a great reminder for folks. You never have to go to google.com to search the question. You can just type it up there in the URL section.
Oh, whatever, whoever you're, okay, so that'll always just have the logo for the whichever search engine you have.
Yeah, whatever your preferred search engine.
Okay, good, thank you.
Yep.
All right.
What's involved in me switching to DuckDuck, whatever it is?
Go. All you have to do is go to your settings of your browser and switch it from Google to DuckDuckGo. It's 4 seconds or 5 seconds of work for you.
Yeah, right, Lynn.
We could do it right now if you like.
Don't toy with me. 5 seconds. Yeah,
Would you like to do it now?
why not? Could
Okay,
we?
you want to share
Well-
the screen?
Yes.
Awesome.
Am I losing anything by doing this?
No, you're just losing Google as your default. So if you're wanting Google as your search engine, that would be the only thing you're losing. Does that make sense?
Will this do everything Google has done?
Yes, but in a safer way,
Okay,
less advertising way.
do I hit launch?
You're already in the Zoom meeting. If you go up to the top right of the web page, or go to your right, do you see the like stop sign?
Right,
Keep
ADP.
going all the way to your right there. There's 3 dots lined up in a row.
Yeah, I use those.
Click that. And go to settings.
See, I could have done this.
Yes, you could.
I lack confidence.
And then
Okay.
if you scroll down, if you want to click search engine over on the left, if you go up, your cursor up, do you see where it says search engine?
Right.
Click that. And if you see now over on the right, it says search engine, and the search engine used in the address bar is Google. What you're going to do is click Google and then click that and switch it to Yahoo, Bing, or DuckDuckGo. Yep. And that's all you had to do. And Nancy, while we're here, do you see on startup, that's where you would change your browser. Right now, Dan's is set for a specific page, which is Google. You can either continue where it left off, open a new page, or you can click that and pick a certain website. So Dan, every time he opens his website, goes to Google.
Okay. Now, is the rest of that changing for me?
So anytime you search in that URL address bar up at the top, it's going to be DuckDuckGo from now on.
So
But
now,
Lynn, it still says Google's the default browser. Does he not have to change that?
Google Chrome is the default browser. The
Right, but if
browser
you,
is the way to go to the internet. The search engine is how you search for data and
I
websites
see.
on the
Okay.
internet. And the home page is the first page you see when you open your browser.
okay,
Okay.
Do you all understand those definitions? They're
Lynn,
Absolutely. Absolutely not. No, I have no idea.
But-
Yeah, like explain that. Under default, it still says Google Chrome.
so the search engine is how you search the internet for your questions, like
Right,
how do I fix my sink? You could search that in Google. You could search that in Ask Jeeves. You could search that in Yahoo. You could search that in DuckDuckGo. That is a search engine where you go and you search the internet for something. A browser is a application that connects your computer to the internet. So that's Google Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer, Edge, Safari, any of those applications that you go to get to the internet. And then once you're on the internet, you open the internet and you can set it to a specific page. Dan's is going to go to Google. You could set it so that it leaves off where you picked up last time or whatever you prefer.
So Google's still part of my life. It's not.
Yeah, so if you switch your on startup to either continue where you left off, or if you want your mail, I forget who you use as your email, or if you want Amazon to be your primary, or if you do a lot of YouTubing and you want YouTube, you could do that there. I have mine to continue where I left off so that if I still have things open from last time, it's still there. I didn't.
Should I do that?
You could try it, and if you don't like it, you could change it.
I know who to ask.
Yep.
So just change to continue where I left off.
So now if you close out of your browser, which is Chrome, the X in the top right corner. And then if you want to open up Chrome again on your computer.
Let's see. Screen.
You can close out of your email if you want to get out of your email.
Okay. So do I still come in? Okay, hoping.
That's your browser, which is Google Chrome.
Okay.
What's confusing is Google owns all of these. So they're different things, but because it's owned by the same company, it's super confusing. So now it's opening up to where you left off last. If you say we're at Amazon when you left off, that's where you would be. Or if you were, on a news website or something else, that's where you would be. Does that make sense?
And Lynn, under on startup, then that bottom choice is how to put it, if you want a home page.
A specific page,
Right.
a set of pages. You could have multiple pages. Like if you want to open up and every single time you're at the Westminster live stream, page, but you also want to have Amazon and you also want to have YouTube, you could have all three of those open up every single time.
So that gives me a choice to fill in when you click on that
Yeah.
button.
Dan, do you want to click on that last button so Nancy can see it?
But this will open us out of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there, and he had
Okay.
Google at one point, you go to those three dots on the right and it would remove, and you would ask if you want to remove it or not. So if you no longer wanted Google, and then you can add an additional page under add new page. So you could have, I don't know how many you could have, but.
You do that, Lynn?
I leave it continue where I left off. But everybody's different. Everybody prefers different things. So if the only time you're going to the website is on Sunday mornings, then you'd want the church website to be your default homepage.
Now, if you had a set of different multiple pages to open up, would they all open up at once or would they rotate?
They would come up at the same time. Here, Dan, I'm going to stop sharing your screen. I'm going to show you what happens when I close my browser. So let's see, I'll open up. Oh, you know what? I have it set so it opens up Google every time. But I lied. I thought I had it different. So anyway, if you click on whatever, and then you close it down. Oh, I have to share you my whole screen, I guess. Oh, desktop. Okay, so if I open and go to YouTube and go to
I see.
Amazon. So let me change this real quick to oh, it is where I continued where I left off. I was right. Okay. So if I close out of all this, when I open it again, it lies. It's not doing what it says it's doing.
Well, yeah, that's where you just were though.
Yeah. Anyway. Anyway. But yeah, so there's a lot of different options you can do to add to your homepage.
Who owns YouTube?
It's Google now, I think. Yes.
I think so too, yeah.
Was it what was I watching that they were the major? Were they Super Bowl a big? I was watching something that was of consequence, and they were the big of it, sponsor of it. Anyone remember? It was noteworthy to me that it was them. I don't know if they were Super Bowl.
I know some people streamed it on the Super Bowl on YouTube, but I mean there was a whole thing about how more people were watching on streaming services instead of cable, your regular TV stations. So, like me, I was just watching over the internet.
And how much do you pay for streaming services, roughly?
It depends on what you want,
Yeah.
and if you want to work the system, like us millennials who, like do family plans, but then we share it with all our friends and family. So like each of us buys one things but then we all have, everything because everybody's sharing with everyone. That makes sense. So
I can jump in here because I converted from cable to streaming, and I don't have a smart TV, so I first had to buy 2 Roku sticks, which were, I don't know, $50-$60. Do you know how much they cost, Lynn?
it was like 40, I think, but I think there's different options that you can get now.
Yeah, and then I had to upgrade the speed of my router. But then the router itself costs either 30 or 40 bucks a month. And then to get all the live television shows that we wanted, whether it's CBS, ABC, MSNBC, CNN, Fox, whatever, we had to go to Hulu with live TV, which is 55 bucks a month. That's the top thing. Plus, we also had Netflix and Prime, so that was, just switched over as a cost. So instead of paying 170 bucks a month for cable, we're paying about 80 or 90 bucks now, except we keep adding things because we want to see something and then we forget to cancel it.
Mhm.
like Peacock or something like that. So anyway, $55 a month was the big cost for Hulu with live TV. And
Mhm.
then
You
Netflix.
want live TV. You might not want live TV because for my purposes, everything is pretty much for free on YouTube that I want to see. Like um the inauguration and things like that. Any kind of newsworthy thing is pretty much free at this point on YouTube. There are exceptions, but
So Lynn,
and work the system like I'll do a free trial of HBO and then cancel after a month or whatever.
so Lynn, for seeing things on YouTube, they have a streaming service you have to pay for also, or not?
They have a YouTube or it's similar to your Hulu with live TV. For it's mostly for people who want to watch sports.
Okay.
Sports stuff is very you can't watch that
Paying for it.
without paying for it pretty much. So I'm not a sports person, so I don't care. But
So for everything else, like the inauguration or something like that, you could just
any of
see,
those State of the Unions, any of those big events, a lot of the news stuff,
you could just watch on free YouTube.
free on YouTube or on the website of the like hosts, website. Not all the cable are not all the stations allow it, but most, and it depends on.
So you could just go to like CBS.com or whatever it is and watch whatever they're streaming.
Sometimes they'll ask for a provider, but they don't always. It depends on the company, and I'm sure it's going to change over time.
Well, is YouTube in real time or is it after the fact?
It can. Like how you watch worship on you. If you watch worship on live stream on YouTube, we're live on YouTube.
Yeah.
For
But
church.
don't you have to how do you have to sign into YouTube, right? Or don't you?
You could go to the website or you could open the app on your TV.
Yeah, I just checked Lynn on my iPad and they've got the whole impeachment hearing live too.
Yeah, I was tuning into that last night. So
Yeah.
Who was just talking about changing to Hulu TV? I look for lips to move and no lips to move. Who was that?
Terrence was talking about how he just got Hulu.
Yes, Terrence just stands still for this whole thing. It's practicing meditation like.
And
I'm
what's that
confused.
puppet thing where
Len, you're toying again.
I mean, like the Muppets or what?
not the Muppets. It's when you have
Ventriloquist?
Ventura. That's it.
Ventriloquist.
I'm
Where
speaking
you're
multisyllabically, yes. How do I, wait, who again said that? So if I'm talking about, okay, I do everything with Comcast. And for what you're saying is I could do that other, could I still get on demand? I wouldn't still get on demand, would I?
No, you would not get on demand. This is Terrence again. Watch my lips stay still. But you could, with Hulu Live plus Live TV, you can record things. And, with our Roku stick and it has a channel also for movies. They're not as plentiful or as good as say Netflix or Amazon Prime, but with those, you get a complete selection of movies. When I had Fios, we had on demand there, so that's just another platform for movies. You'll have plenty to watch, but if you have Comcast, you would have to. Do you know what speed your router is, Dan?
what do you think? No, I would say it's adequate. How's that? I don't know. It probably, what I usually do is I make a point of getting the most expensive thing possible, it seems, but I'm just saying that's the way it works. I like it easy and fast, or easy. I don't care about fast. I'm not in a hurry for anything. I like it easy, but easy is the big thing. Easy and accessible. And I'm willing to pay a little bit more money for it.
Well, so you have cable, and my suggestion would be that you don't change anything then.
In my language, good. Yeah.
Because cable is fast. Sometimes, I don't know if this happens on the smart TV, Lynn, but sometimes the Roku stick gets a little hinky and it'll go back, to home, and you have to, scroll down and get whatever channel you were watching. That doesn't happen very often. It also seems to, like with Zoom, because it's going over Wi-Fi, the picture will freeze for just an instant and the sound will stop, but then it picks up right there. You don't lose anything. But Dan, if it works for you now, I would just say, don't go through any trouble to change it.
Good, because if I have problems, I would just have to call Lynn. So I think Lynn good.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Just call Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence knows what he's doing though.
Yeah,
I
Terrence
trained
knows
him up.
But his lips don't move.
Yeah, that's okay, because all you really need is the sound of my voice.
Lynn, I have a question about texting.
Yeah.
I have an iPhone
Mhm,
and an iPad mini,
mhm,
okay? If I text someone on my phone,
mhm.
the response only comes back on my phone. Is there a way to be able to access the response from either my phone or my iPad?
Is it the same iCloud account?
Is it the same what?
iCloud account?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Yeah. Is it just happening? Is it happening for every text or is it just Android text messages?
So it's any text.
Okay. They should be able to sync.
Well, that's what I thought, but I haven't been able to figure out how.
I have never had an issue with that for me. Sometimes Android text won't go to the iPad, but most everything does. But I don't know. I feel like I'm going to have to do some research on that one because I don't want to waste time going into the depths.
Yeah, Lynn, my experience is that the iPad doesn't pick up the responses from people that don't have an Apple phone.
Unless it's a cellular
Yeah,
pad or a mini. But there should still be a way to sync the iMessage.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
sister has an iPhone and her messages don't sync from one of my devices to the other either. So it's
Does it sync with your MacBook?
no, because I don't have iMessage on my MacBook.
Oh,
Well, no, I don't have it. I don't have it on my iPhone either, or on my iMac either.
oh.
I don't normally text through my iMac. I text through the mobile devices.
It's really handy when you have to type long things.
Well, I send emails if I have to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I have the same problem, except that if I text from my iPhone and that's a good communication, but then from my iPad, it doesn't sync to my iPad, but my iPad is not under any subscription. It's just, I just use it for games and things like that, or emails. But when you said is it under the same company? What, I don't know what you meant by that.
Mhm. Ken, did you have a question or follow up to this, or is this something else? You're muted.
Frozen and muted.
His lips are moving.
I have an iPad and an iPhone and an Apple iWatch.
Mhm.
And I didn't actively do anything to set them up, but they are all synced. So if I
Oh,
have a text from my watch to Grace, you know, it comes up on all of my devices. So I don't know what the answer is, but I just wanted to let you know it's synced. So
I've never had a problem with mine either. Sometimes Android texts.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you guys have multiple iCloud accounts. No,
No, it's all under the same account.
because sometimes even like when my dad logged into my mom's and things, it gets funky. But I can do some research.
Well, the other thing that's interesting too, the other day, I received a phone call on my phone,
Mm-hmm.
but it also rang on my iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't have a mail account, or I don't have a phone account set up on my iPad. I don't
right.
even have the phone icon on my iPad anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
but I
Yeah.
couldn't answer it on my iPad.
I have answered it on my iPad when my phone rings.
Me too.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to do it because I didn't have the phone icon anywhere to click on to accept the call.
So you didn't have the little green button that's like you could answer?
No.
Huh. I wish we could have seen that.
Yeah, that
Well,
was
Then it's interesting because when, you know, we have Comcast and we have Comcast for our internet too. And if our house phone rings, it shows, and I'm watching TV, it shows me who's calling,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which is
I
very,
used to do
very handy.
That's a setting on your DVR.
Don't
Wait.
ask me.
No, I'm
But-
saying
but
it is.
Yeah,
It's,
they're
it's
both
something you
Comcast,
can,
so.
it's something you can change.
So, okay, I used to get that, pardon me, I used to get that, but now I don't get it. And I really could have used that during election season. How do I get, Stephen, how do I get back on and get that?
I'm not set up with Comcast. I have Fios. But if you give me a call at some point, I might be able to talk you through it by asking you what do you see on the screen and what's on your remote.
Okay, I would do it, then I would do it in front of my TV with,
With your TV remote.
getting into like apps there.
In the settings on the cable box.
Okay, and what would it be called? It would be,
On your remote, you should have a button that says settings or menu.
but to get to it, is it on screen, something or other?
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah, I don't know what is, how it's identified, but okay.
Do you have a way you could send me a picture of your remote?
No, that's an easy answer.
Want to go get, or
I'm not gonna mess with it now, but it's good for me to think about. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna play with it.
Okay, we could also Zoom. You have a desktop computer, right?
Yeah.
So we can't look at the TV with the webcam.
You know,
Oh, I guess we could.
you could bring the remote to the desktop.
What's that?
To bring the remote to the desktop for you.
Yes. Yes.
my goal is, my goal is to get it done this year. In other words, I'm not in a hurry, so I'm not gonna do anything with it now.
No, I'm just saying you can give me a call one day. We'll set up a Zoom and we'll do it.
Okay, good.
But theoretically, Chuck, when somebody calls you, every Apple device that's on the same account should go off at the same time. I've been in meetings where like my computer, my iPad, my watch, and my phone are all ringing at the same time, and I have to answer one of them. But it's none of them have cellular except for my phone, and they're ringing off of the Wi-Fi because they're all on the same Wi-Fi.
I can Facebook on my iPad or my phone, but I don't have anything set up to receive phone calls.
How
Like I say, I don't have that app on my iPad.
how old's your iPad?
Christmas a year ago.
Oh, so it's new. Yeah. It's not like 10 years old.
No,
Okay, I'm gonna have to research that for you, Chuck.
yeah, it's just kind of surprising. I'm not sure
It makes
how
no,
that works.
it makes no sense. It should work.
Yeah, I have exactly the same problem. Exactly the same.
We'll figure that out.
We'll answer 2 for 1 here then.
Yeah.
And next week we'll hopefully have more answers.
There you go.
But here's hoping.
Now my iMac is Comcast. That's my account, I guess, because internet, everything is there. But my iPhone is Verizon. But they all communicate, except that I don't get text. Every so often, I can see that there's a text on my iMac, but I don't know where it came from or anything. It's, you know, because I do all my texts and everything from my iPhone.
Okay. So are you saying that the iMac is set up through your Comcast email? And
Yes.
Verizon is your cellular?
Verizon is just from my iPhone because my daughter-in-law set it up with, tied with hers through Verizon.
Okay. So you might have 2 different accounts and we need to switch one of them to the other.
Oh.
We might, and that's easy to do, but it sounds like you could have 2 different accounts.
Right.
And if you sync one of them.
But wouldn't they be on the same Wi-Fi?
No, 2 different accounts, one set up through, because they're all based on your iCloud account.
Okay.
So you have to log into and some people do that through, their emails typically. So,
How do you know what your iCloud account is?
if you have any Apple device and you go to settings, hold on. Let's make it fancy. Fancy. Plug in. Trust. Okay, so if you go to your settings button and go up here to Apple ID, you can see that it's connected. It's linny.george@gmail.com.
Wait, where? Okay, right at the
Where
top.
was that?
So if you go back out, It's the setting button right here.
Okay.
This wheel guy. And if you click that, at the very top, it's L George. And then if you scroll down, these are all the devices that are connected to that account. So you can see I've got a lot of devices here, but this might be able to see, this says this phone, and then you might be able to go, oh, I don't see my iMac, or I don't see my iPad or whatever. So, and like some of these are old. But that's a way, if you go in any of your Apple devices, for you to check that, because that would help determine if it's the same Apple ID, or if it's a different one. Does that make sense?
Oh, mine it is. It says iPhone, iMac, and iPad.
Okay, so they're all on the same account?
Yeah, I guess. Yep.
Okay, so that's good to know. If you're seeing all of them listed there.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me, how did you get to that settings?
So do you have a iPhone, Dan?
No, I have no cell phone. I'm one of the 3 people in Pennsylvania that has no cell phone, so.
That's what I thought. So there's no reason for you to try to get there because you don't have this device and you're a PC user. So none of this is a
Lynn,
problem that you have.
Lynn, I have an iPhone, and I've been trying to. I got 2 iPhones, one older and one newer, plus an iPad. So you go to settings, and then where do you go from settings?
Let me pull it up again. I could pull it up on the, stop. Where'd it go? iPhone. Maybe. Is it coming? Do you guys see anything? Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Okay, so settings, this wheel guy right here. I don't know where it is on your phone, but mine's
Yeah, I know. Okay. Wi-Fi.
at the very top. It should have your name. And
Right. Right.
Apple ID. So you click on that, and then this will have all your information. And if you scroll down to the bottom, these are all the devices that are synced with your account.
Okay. And then hit iCloud right under subscriptions.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's what's being
Stored. And what you want syncing. Oh, maybe this is your problem, Chuck. Is messages synced under the iCloud account?
It is not.
Yay!
Oh, mine neither.
Can I get 10% of that? Yay.
Oh.
Okay, then is that I was talking about there? Is that the messages thing that we were talking about?
Yes.
Oh, sync.
So I would recommend having your contacts and messages synced, so that you're able to see all your contacts. And if you use iCalendar, to have the calendars on as well. Photos is up to you guys, because you might want your photos on just that device. But
so here's a question too. So now I have these 2 phones, and how can I tell if they're synced to different iCloud accounts? Where's the information about which iCloud account syncs?
so if you go to that settings on both devices,
Right.
you would see if it's the same account or if it's 2 different accounts.
Did you just send a testing?
I texted you also to see if it went to both places.
Okay, I'm gonna, it went on my iPhone, but the iPad, I'm using it now, so I don't know how to check that.
Oh, it
If
probably
I got,
then.
when we get out, yeah, I'll check it, but I got in here. Great.
I'm guessing.
So when I go to settings, it'll have an email address, correct? Is that what happens?
Mhm.
To
Yeah.
say whether it's synced? Okay.
So if you go back to mine, do you see under my name, there's an email?
Right, I see that.
Yeah, so that's going to tell you there as well. So
Now, I have a PC. No, I have a laptop, and I want to sync most of my contacts are on my newer iPhone, but I want to be able to sync it, the contacts with the contacts that are in Outlook on the laptop. Can I do that through iCloud?
you sound like my dad.
You sound like, well, I've heard that before.
PCs and Mac devices are not friendly to each other. Yeah. It's very difficult for those to sync.
Well, I don't have a Mac. I have an iPhone and a PC.
Apple makes Macs. Apple and Mac are the same company.
Uh-oh.
Microsoft are their competitors. So they don't want their stuff to speak to each other, because then, people are more willing to buy other devices.
Okay, say that again. Which of the two companies are the same?
Apple
Yeah.
makes MacBook computers and iPads and iPhones. That's Apple's universe. All of their stuff is happy and speaks to each other and syncs really pretty. PCs
Right.
are Microsoft and Android devices. And so those devices speak to each other and live in a little happy world. But trying to get them to talk to each other is not fun. Yeah, Stephen's shaking his head. My dad, whenever I go home to visit him, is complaining and grumbling about trying to get them to work together.
Okay. So I am not alone in the universe.
You are not alone.
No.
It's one of those people are just so frustrated they stick with a brand and they only buy devices so that it's easier for them.
So I didn't even realize that PCs and Microsoft are different from Macs and Apples and iPads and iPhones. And well, they should just have a Super Bowl and see who wins.
Apple win.
Yeah.
I'm an old person, and old people ask their son-in-laws and so on questions, not just Lynn. So my son-in-law is a confirmed Mac user, and I ask him questions. He'll answer them, but it's harder for him to answer my questions. So unless my daughter gets a different husband, I hope she doesn't, but it's hard for him to give advice to me because he's so used to using Mac equipment.
That's why you have me.
Pardon?
I said, that's why you have me.
There you go.
Well, between Lynn and Stephen, we've got, that covers pretty much the world, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's good. And that's a good thing. You both helped me. And so if you have a question, get them both on. That's good.
If you see answers, go to Stephen. If you want Apple.
So here's a future question. So I have a laptop right now which runs Microsoft and Outlook and all that stuff. So if I ever wanted to change over to the Mac world, could I get everything that's my documents that are in folders and bookmarks that are on websites? Could I get that all translated over, or would I have to start from zero?
What browser do you currently use as your default?
It's either Google or Firefox.
Okay, then yes, you could get those synced over easily. The documents like Word, PowerPoint, all of that can be easily synced over. It's not going to be easy the first time. It's going to be
not easy.
It's going to be work the first time you do it, but once you do it, any future computers, the process will be a lot easier. Well, Connie might argue, but
except for the new chip.
But once they're all in the universe, but switching over from PC to Mac the first time is a tedious process, but once you're there.
So do you need to take it to like a Mac shop for them to do it?
Well, Elsa, I think, is one of the ones that did it during COVID. Yes.
Say who? Say what? Say that again.
Elsa, were you one of the ones that switched over?
Yeah, I did. I signed up with Best Buy, the Geek Squad, and they came over and he did the whole thing for me. And then if I have questions, I can ask them, but it's not easy.
Wait, Elsa, what did he switch?
Because
what did he switch from? What to what?
I switched from the PC to iMac because I had the iPad and I had the iPhone and I wanted everything to sync in, the photos and everything else. So I said, well, I have to do this change sometime or another. And Lynn knows it took me months, but I did it finally. And I'm very happy because I had a lot of problems with my PC before. On Microsoft, it was horrible. But now, knock on wood, it's been great. But I still have growing pains. I have to tell you, a lot of things don't sync exactly. Like I'd like to do some graphics here and there, and I have a hard time navigating through the iMac to add things to my emails or things like that I used to do. But I'll get there.
If you're not familiar with Mac operating systems, it is a learning curve because PCs are set up a little bit differently. So it took me, I switched back in 2009 from PC to Apple for the first time. And it took me a little bit to learn how to navigate a Mac and transfer everything. But once you're familiar with it, it's lovely. And I think it's with the new M1 chip, eventually Macs are going to look like an iPhone and iPad device. So they should be more uniform.
But they don't work like an iPad. Trust me.
Yes.
I'm only going from an iPad to the M1 chip, and it's like I might as well be going to China.
You've had a rough week this week.
Yes, it's only been what, 2 weeks, so I can't. At least I can get on Zoom, and that's all I really cared about it.
Give me an opinion. If you look out into the future, which technology is going to grow and grow? Which technology is going to shrink?
I think either of them will shrink.
Mm-hmm.
They're just established in their own camps, and they don't even really fight. They just don't talk to each other.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like they have a monopoly over both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are definitely devotees on both sides of that fence.
Sounds like national politics.
Yeah,
It's close.
or mayor.
So,
Well, then you have goofy people like me that do both.
Yeah.
so okay, Stephen, then you can answer this question if you do both, and maybe Lynn can chip in, no pun intended, but because she did one and did the other. Which do you prefer, Stephen, and for what reason?
I prefer Mac because it's more intuitive, but I'm not as familiar with the Mac as I need to be to really answer that question. But I like its interface a lot better. And in the Apple world, all the software plays nicely together. In the PC world, the software there is so much software, it doesn't really talk to itself very well. In the PC world, the Mac world, everybody's designing for the same interface. So the software is more uniform in its communication abilities.
Terrence, one of the things people like about Microsoft and PCs is that they let programmers do a lot of customization
Yes.
and give you a lot of features and ways to make it very unique to you as an individual. So people that really like that, it's phenomenal. But that means that there's a lot of opportunities for hackers and computer, people to get in and mess with the software. And that's why you see so many antivirus software specifically for PCs. Apple is very, very, very protective about their stuff. So they don't release it until they know it's really well done, but there's not as much customization and ways to make it kind of yours.
Good analogy is when you buy a car, if you intend to maintain it yourself, you want a PC. If you intend to let the dealership do it all, you want a Mac.
And also, if you're in the business world, you really are kind of stuck with PCs, unless you're in the creative photography video world. So businesses, I think, will be PCs forever because of that.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you.
What you just said, Stephen, what you just said, I'm not a do-it-yourselfer for this. So that would lend me towards, you said, the Apple world.
However, you're so familiar, you're kind of locked into the PC world. I think the change for you would be a little overwhelming, Dan.
Yeah.
At least whelming. Yes. Yeah. No, I
would agree with that thought.
So I don't, but
I both platforms, and I find the Mac to be so much easier and so much more consistent. I struggle with the PC because I'm not as familiar with it, but it's not as easy to get familiar with it. And therefore, I don't. My father-in-law's laptop just died recently, and I had to get him a new one and set it up and everything else. And I did it, and everything's working fine, but it certainly isn't as easy as setting up a new Mac, whether it's an iPad, iPhone, anything. And Dan, I think now that, with all the work that you've been doing with your PC, I think it'd be smart for you to just stay there and not try another platform, even though long-term you'd probably enjoy it.
No.
But getting from here to then is probably not worth it for you.
That's why Mac users are kind of snobs, aren't they?
Yeah, and PC users have less hair.
Look at this.
My number one prayer concern is for a haircut now. So look at this. Here's not my problem, but, okay.
See, the funny thing is that the first computer I had was a Macintosh.
Me too.
Smart
I
move.
loved it. I loved it. It was user-friendly and everything. Then everything was PC. So I converted to the PC and got used to it many
Shouldn't
years.
have done that.
And now back to the Mac. Yeah.
Yep, and my Macintosh had 1 meg of memory. And that was a lot.
And
The first computer I ever used had 8K of memory. It didn't even know how to multiply. I had to write a program to tell it how to multiply.
You know what that says? That says that, pardon me, but you're an old fart.
Yeah, especially in the computer world.
So what were the little discs that you put in the Macintosh? Were they called CDs or not? They were not.
Floppy disk.
Floppy disk, right?
Yeah, floppies.
That were actually floppy.
Yeah.
I started out using paper tape and punch cards.
Oh, yeah. That goes way back.
Yeah, that's what I went to, going in a technology way back in college. Those were the classes they used punch cards and that sort of thing.
When as a junior in high school, we were using paper tape. And when I had a college course where we used Mylar tape. It didn't rip as easily.
Connie, you have a question?
Yeah, this is a sort of a generic question. When things like Don does a Zoom like on a class and he says he's got 3 or 4 annual meeting, 3 or 4 screens in front of him. Are those what are the screens? They can't be more computers next to him that have screens on them.
His office, he has 2 monitors.
Okay, so they're just extra monitors.
He also, for the annual meeting, had his tablet next to him. So sometimes when you walk in his office, the 2 monitors and then his Surface tablet.
Yeah, okay.
Is he a Mac person or a PC person?
Person. It's funny. It's so funny, the church staff. Anyone under the age of 40, and I'm quoting John Frost because it's Mac, and everybody else is, with the exception of Jenny Clark, who's half and half.
We're the people that are going to solve global warming. It's not the under 40 people. It's the Microsoft people, right?
I don't know, because riddle me this. If we have a lot of snow, it's called global warming. If we have no snow, it's also called global warming.
It's all called climate change.
Oh, yeah, right. Sorry. Climate change.
Climate change.
Yeah.
You don't need to use global warming. It's climate change.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the ultimate answer to that question.
Okay.
There are more PC devices in the world, so they will contribute more to the problem of having to recycle all the used parts when everybody switches to Mac.
And on that note.
Lynn, quick question here. When you were on your iCloud, you had 50 gigs of space there. Do you pay extra for the extra space?
I pay $1 a month for 50 gigs.
Okay.
A bargain at twice the price.
It is.
99 cents, yes.
Yeah. It is absolutely a bargain.
It's worth.
Lynn, you know, you do such a good job writing this up each week. This is going to be a challenge writing up this conversation for this week.
You know how she does it? She goes back and watches the video and takes notes.
No, I take notes as we talk.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how we can, you know, argue the PC, how I can recap a PC back.
This has been
Oh,
unusual.
that's a one sentence thing. Just put it all together in one
Yeah,
sentence.
use a Mac.
I always say, once you go back, you don't go back.
There you go.
I also did.
Yeah, it's true. But she was forced into it, I think,
You're saying
corporate world.
there's a term, she goes both ways. Right?
Uh-oh.
That puts me in that world too.
Well, and I'm stuck with both, so. Both.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, you have to communicate to all those old farts at work.
No farts.
Okay, well, thank you and
Thank
stay
you.
warm and
Yeah,
see you
stay
next
safe.
time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Lynn, can I talk with you